Hey guys, welcome to another episode of VTEC Academy. You're about to get schooled. So we have a lot of project cars.
Way too many. People are always asking, hey, what's up with all these other project cars we see and then never come back?
Yeah, and that's not our intention to do that, but sometimes time gets away from us.
Yeah, and we just need to get it done and we don't have time to film it because for the most part it's only the two of us working around on most of the stuff now.
Right. So anyway, what I thought we would do is I thought you'd give you an update of all the current project cars we have and where they're going.
So we decided to start here at the house because, well, that's where we are, so it's the easiest place to start.
That's right. So talk to me about Project Mommobile.
Project Mommobile. Oh, I don't even know how I like that name. This is my 2007 Accord. There has been one video already featured on it when we swapped a K24A2 with a TSX tranny into it. We used K-Tuner for that swap. This is my daily. So we have, it's a pretty nice street car. We've got some good modifications to it already that I've done. It's got teen coilovers, SPC suspension, or camber arms, I should say. We've already got fast brakes, big brake kit on it with the Legend calipers and a 12.6-inch rotor. And we got Koenig wheels wrapped in some nice hard compound tires because I like buying new tires every 6 months. But yeah, we've actually got some new episodes coming out. We're going to start updating this car and doing some more work to it. We actually have a new, bigger brake kit for the front with some Wilwood calipers from Fast Brakes. We have a rear disc conversion ready to go on this car with another big brake kit from Fast Brakes. Their intention is to get a little more horsepower of the car. So we're going to do an intake, header. I actually have a TSX cat back that I might chop up a little bit and put on this car. It's funny, actually, this car's been in 2 accidents, been hit both in the front and the rear. I've had this car for like 8 years now. But it survived all fine with straight frame rails. But last time I got hit in the rear, I had them put a B6 rear bumper on the car, so I'd had the twin exhaust cutouts because I really want to dual exit. So I'm looking forward to that. And then there's a lot of goals with this car in the long run. It has a tan interior because every white Honda has to come with a freaking tan interior. But I really want to do a black interior swap to it. And then we do have a CT Engineering supercharger saying for it that needs to be rebuilt. In the long run is to get that rebuilt and slapped on the car and make some pretty good power with it. Next, well, what do you have? Let's see your car you got here, Dad.
Well, I have Project Black and Blue. That's this car right here. This has been a long time Hasport project car. Recently it lost an altercation with a pigeon. I think you were saying it might have been revenge for us scaring him off. But this car has been through many iterations. Way back in January of 2003, it was actually on the cover of Honda Tuning. Heart of the Beast, I believe, was the name of the article. And this was one of the first 2001 Civics to actually get a K-swap in it. This particular one, we prototyped our mount kits on it. And later on that year, it was actually in another magazine article. And this time, it was Car and Driver's Super 4 Challenge. Every year, they were doing a shootout between a bunch of cars. And one year, they decided to do it with 4 cylinders. And this car actually finished first with all the front wheel drive cars. At that particular time, it had a Rev-Hard turbo kit. We teamed up with the AEM and Progress, so it had Progress suspension, and AEM actually put a slightly bigger turbo on it. We're using an AEM EMS Series 2 ECU for tuning, and it also had AEM big brakes on it. They made up a special kit that used Boxster front calipers, and I gotta say, some of the best brakes I've ever had. So currently, the modifications in this particular, oh, I forgot to mention, we actually drove it for a while after that, full race, built a turbo kit for it. It had a nice big turbo, made about 650 horsepower. We had a built block from Crowder that was really nice, and the car made serious power. But unfortunately, one day when we were out at the track, it caught on fire. You can actually see some damage on the hood from the heat, and it kind of languished after that. A couple of years ago, I decided to bring it back, use it as a daily driver. So currently it has a TSX engine in it. It has a TSX transmission with a factory LSD, although whoever owned this transmission before did not take care of it. It has got just absolutely just wrecked synchro for 6th gear, so it just grinds every single time. But one of the things I would like to do is actually change out the transmission and do a video on how we actually did the engine swap in this particular car. Now, a long time ago, the brake rotors were worn out, so it no longer has the AEM big brake kit on it. We actually had Fast Brakes make us some new front rotors for the car and some slightly different brake calipers. So it still has the Boxster front brakes, and it still stops like, you know, one of the best cars I've ever had. Currently it has 5 Zagan wheels on it, FNO 1RCs. It's running 225 rubber all the way around. Of course, the Progress suspension on the front, the competition coilovers, the Series 2. It has a competition rear sway bar. It has a 5-lug conversion from the RSX. And it has 2006 Civic Si sedan, or actually coupe front seats in it, which are super comfy. We are going to do some more work with this particular car. So one of the things I really want to do is actually do a CL Type S engine swap in it. But first things first, we need to get a better transmission in it and get it going with that. Anyway, we have a lot more cars, so let's check them out. So this is a car probably everybody's familiar with. This is Budget EG. So let's talk a little bit about it. Currently, the car is got obviously a K24A4 Accord engine swap with a K24A4 Accord engine. It has a K-tuner ECU running it. There is a DC Sports header, AEM air filter on our little custom intake tube. On top of that, we have the Koenig dial-in wheels. We have 8s in the front and 7s in the rear. We've actually punched out the front end a little bit with some brackets. You can see though, my paint doesn't match very well, so I need to fix that. We're running a 225 up front and a 205 in the rear. These are actually Nankang NS2Rs, nice sticky tire that you can run on the street as well. It's got a Fast Brakes big brake kit on it with the Wilwood calipers. This particular kit was actually designed for road racing. I may actually change it out for something a little bit more budget minded. I think that the brake kit was a little bit more money than wanted to spend, keeping kind of our budget friendly motif going on this car. The next thing is it's got an Auto Power roll bar in it. For those of you who don't know, Auto Power is a company that made the roll cage in the inside I crashed. We will put a Sparco seat in it whenever we're at the track. Otherwise, it runs the stock seats, and it has iBox suspension. So for the future, some of the modifications we want to do is we want to try and beef up the suspension a little bit. I really like the suspension for the street. It's nice and comfortable, but the car actually leans a little bit too much on the road course. So we're going to start off by putting some Type R sway bars on it and some Type R springs on these shocks, and hopefully that'll get us where we want to be. If not, we'll go ahead and go to like a coilover, ground control coilover with these same shocks. For the engine, we want to try and get a little more horsepower on it. The first modifications I have listed for this is we're going to be doing a larger throttle body for it. We've got one from King Motorsports. It's an Accord throttle body that's been overboard. Another thing is we're going to do a long tube header, and we're going to try out the 50-degree VTC and see if getting more timing doesn't help as well. I'm really curious to see how that works out. But this car, if you want to see the engine swap and stuff and how we did it, you can go ahead and check out our series called Budget EG. We actually did the swap and covered it extensively. We have another car here too. Let's check out your car, Carter.
Yes, the ugly duckling that is my Prelude. Really ugly right now. We're actually in the middle of filming the first series, which I'll tell you about in a second. So this car I got from my uncle. He was getting ready to switch into a new race car and let me have this one. Originally it was a B production SCCA car. So I actually had a built H23 in it, which made about 205 horsepower. It was a really fun car to have. I've done about 4 or 5 track days on that motor, but we hit the life limit on it. So that's all it had. It was time to pull it out. Originally we were like, oh, let's put an H22 in it. It'll be easy. Bolt right in. We started looking at more. We started thinking about it. And Hasport's in the middle of redesigning a new K-Series mount kit for it. Actually, it's going to move the engine back and up for a little bit better placement. So what we do? we decided to K-swap it. We have a K20 Z3 with a bunch of skunk parts, intake, throttle body, cams. We're gonna run a nice K-tuned long tube header on the car. It made about 240 on the dyno when that motor was originally built. Doesn't have a lot of time on it, so it should be nice. We're gonna strap it to a SI 6-speed tranny. And hopefully we're in the middle of doing that swap right now. Obviously I gotta remove some brackets, and we're trying to clean up this engine bay. This car was really beat and it's not entirely straight, so don't worry, we're not designing the kit on this car. But the price was right, so I took it. So we're in the middle of that, actually filming the first episode, attempting to paint it, although that's the wrong color gray, so we'll be redoing that. Along with the new K-swap, we're gonna be redoing all the electronics in the car. We ripped everything out, so we're gonna go with a K-tuner ECU, a tuner view dash in it, and we're redoing the whole dash, all new switches. We're actually having an episode on how to make a race stripped K-swap harness. Actually, it only has what you need on it, so that should be a fun episode too. You should stay tuned for. Along with the K-swap and painting it, we're gonna do a whole new aero package. So the car originally had no aero on it when I got it, which was interesting at the higher speed tracks. We're gonna be doing a front splitter and air dam, real budgety one, so that should be cool. We're gonna do a rear wing and side skirts for the car also. So hopefully that'll get stuck to the ground a little better. This thing has massive tires on already. We fit a lot. So we're running 5 Ziggin FN01 RCs, which actually allows us to put a giant tire on. We have 255s all the way around on this car. Right now we're running BF Goodrich R1s. And we're switching over to Hoosiers. We actually have takeoffs from the TAM Prelude, which only have a few laps on from Super Lap Battle. So along with that, we need to refresh the suspension because we did swap it to 5 lug when we got it. And we have no clue how many miles are on. So we're gonna do some extended studs and fresh bearings. We also have some fresh Coney yellows, because the one thing my uncle does want off this is, of course, the Penske's with the remote reservoirs. I don't blame them. They're really nice. Other things we're going to try and do to refreshes, we got to put new Lexan in the car because you can't see out the back window. And I'm not quite fast enough to not be concerned about that yet. And we're going to be repainting the whole car. Right now it's like a primer black, and I'm hoping to do it in a nice blue or something like that. But the whole goal for once we get this all back together, obviously it's already fully caged and everything like that, perfect for road racing. So I'm gonna go run TT with NASA to start with, get used to the car, get it dialed in, and hopefully go and get my competition license and go wheel-to-wheel racing. We thought about Honda Challenge, although it's not entirely legal with the dual master setup, although I think it's legal for H1, but that class is sadly kind of dead, so I don't think that's where I want to go. But there's a lot of other classes in NASA we can play with horsepower or weight to get in, fit the car into, maybe fiddle with the aero a little bit, but should be a fun overall car, and we're gonna have a whole series of videos on the build process of it. Well, we got some more cars parked out back, so let's go look at those now. I think they're all yours, so I'll take the camera.
All right, so let's check these out. One of the cars we had a couple of recent videos are the Project Backmarker. This is, of course, is an 88 EF. There are plenty of videos on this. I'm not going to really go over too much of what's going on with this particular car because you can just check out the videos and see exactly what's going on. But some of the things I probably haven't talked about is this actually has Mugen suspension on it. And although one of the shocks is blown out pretty bad, I found a company in California that rebuilds all these things. So I'm looking forward to getting the suspension back up to snuff. Another thing is I recently dug up my ZC motor. The ZC motor is going in this, at least initially, while I go ahead and build a nice B16 to go in it. We have another car behind that. Let's go check it out. This is Project Epiphany. This particular one is Epiphany 2, spelled T-O-O. This is going to be a street car. At one time, this was my wife's car. She really enjoyed driving around. It got great gas mileage. We're doing a K24A4 swap in it, which of course is the Accord motor, along with the Accord transmission. We've done one video on this, basically uninstalling the original motor. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and build a wiring harness for this. I'm going to show you guys how to adapt the Accord wiring harness so that you can use it with a Honda ECU. That should be some good information. I get questioned about that all the time. But once the Accord harness is built, then we can bring this car in and we can actually start doing the Accord swap on it. I think I have all the other parts I need in order to do that swap. So I'm looking forward to getting this back on the road, as is my wife. You know what car I forgot about? How about Kiana's DA? Should we go check that out?
Oh yeah, we should.
Let's do it.
All right, so we had to travel a little bit for my last one to storage. This is my wife's 92 Integra Sedan. This is hopefully going to be next on the chopping block after Project Backmarker and the Black Prelude are finished. We have some really cool stuff for this actually. We're gonna be doing kind of a track day-ish scheme, but still comfortable drive on the street. We have a Skunk Parts B16 with a YS1 tranny with a Cusco LSD for it. Already has progress group coilovers on it, which will probably get refreshed before we go back. We're gonna do a front splitter and rear wing kind of thing, a bucket seat and a roll bar hopefully. We're really looking forward to this project though. I'm hoping it's gonna be a real even on the nose with Project Back Marker and get out on track with that maybe. And definitely my wife's looking forward to doing more track days with it. She's been driving the Budget EG for a lot of them, but she really wants her own car. She feels like she can throw around, and if she paddles it into a wall, it's nobody else's car, which is always a nice thing to have.
This is actually the only unmolested DA Integra we have anymore. So we've got some kind of cool stuff going on with it. You heard that Carter said we were doing a B16A. Some people might think that's kind of a small engine since it came with a 1.8 liter, not a 1.6 liter. But this car actually in Japan came with a B16A motor, so I think it'll be fine. Plus this one's juiced up a little bit, so it should be a little more powerful. The other thing is, since it's the only unmolested one we have, I'm going to go ahead and use it to develop mounts for the all-wheel drive kit. So one of the reasons we're here, besides taking video, is we're trying to free it up so I can get it down the shop real quick and try in some new mounts I have for a B series all-wheel drive motor mount. So check that out, coming soon from Hasport. So this is just some of the cars we have here.
Just the tip of the iceberg, really.
That's right. There's actually quite a few of them down at work. You may have asked yourself, what about
the 81 Civic with the J series?
Remember we used to do that one a long time ago. We need to bring that back.
We do.
And how about the Circuit Monsters Prelude? You guys have seen a few things with that.
Yep. Or the K24Z Swap DK.
That's right. We have that original video. We need to get that going.
And that's still been being worked on too. You guys are continuing to work on it.
We're continuing to work on it. So, and then of course we have the Drag Civic, which has a J series in it, and eventually we'll have a supercharged J series.
Or the J series CRX. Crazy yellow one that's on the cover of a lot of our stuff.
That's right. In fact, that car has been around a long time, done a lot of stuff. And then of course we have Epiphany 2, the number 2, which is my land speed car.
Or my wide body DA, which you've seen been super seat twice, actually.
That's right. Absolutely. So, and there's a bunch that we haven't even shown you.
Yeah, they're really, a lot of people don't know about. Like, I have a first gen wide body CRX with like a Mugen wide body.
Right. Yep. And I have an 86 Civic Si that's actually in really nice condition. It needs a K series.
Yeah, that's a sweet car.
Yep.
Or our 82 Civic 1500S. That's all original, although it needs some work. It's a really straight, nice car.
I wouldn't call it all original. It has the carb kit with the Jackson Racing adapter plate.
It does, and it's painted the wrong color red. Still mad
Not
about
our
that.
fault. Not our fault.
Nope.
And of course we have the Civic Rally Wagon.
Yes, that thing is so much fun to drive.
It is. We actually take a rally crossing. So I think we're going to have to do that too. Well, anyway, guys, thanks a lot for joining us. If you like one of these project cars and want to see more of it, please bug us down in the comments below, and we will bring you more videos on that car. Also, stay tuned for the next episode of Projectcarpalooza, where we will be looking at all the projects down at work. All right, guys, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you later.
Bye.